Hey, what's up, everyone? Anthony Alfredo here. Post-race, Kentucky Speedway, doubleheader, once again, just like Homestead Miami Speedway. It was a blast, and I really enjoyed it. We had two sixth-place finishes. Both were actually side-by-side for fifth at the line, and we finished sixth 4 times now this year. So the funny part is, now that I think about it, every one of those 4 times we've been side-by-side for fifth. Kentucky, the one barely had a couple inches on me when the caution came out on the last lap, and the caution ended the race. So we probably would have finished fourth. And then the second race, obviously, we were side-by-side with the 7. And thinking back to Auto Club, we were side-by-side with the 11 car. And then I guess Talladega, we were 3 wide for essentially what would have been 4th place, but we were 6th. So we were last in that line. But it's a pleasure to see everyone in the chat. Before we get into the race and too deep into discussion, I just want to thank you all for all the support. Everyone who's been subscribing, renewing their subscriptions. It's a pleasure. We got some new members of the Sauce Mafia, as everyone's probably seen on social media. The support's been unreal. So before we get into this, I just want to thank everyone for how much they support me, and obviously the replies, the comments, the posts on social media regarding this past weekend, other races, just things in general, means a lot to me. It doesn't go unnoticed, and I'm super thankful for that. So just so you know as well, if I ever miss something, just like I always say when I'm streaming, if I miss a comment, a subscription, a follow, whatever, that doesn't mean I'm any less grateful. I appreciate every one of you, and your support means the world. So I'm excited to get into this, another post-race. I realized that last week was so hectic, we never actually did one for the Indy road course. So I'll briefly go a couple questions about that if you guys would like to ask any. And if there are none, or after we answer those few, we'll get into both Kentucky races from this past week. And it's only Saturday. It's awesome. It was kind of nice racing during the week. We have the weekend to hang out and chill, and obviously both races went well for us, fortunately, and it was cool to race prime time on Thursday night and Friday night. I hope everyone enjoyed watching on Fox Sports 1. It was my 8th and 9th race of the year. Let's see, I'm trying to get caught up on the chat here. You can see it popping up on the screen. I'm looking to my right here so that I could read it. Thank you, everyone, for the kind words. It means so much. I really do appreciate that. Everyone's got such nice things to say. I love it. And a lot of subscriptions as well. Awesome, awesome, awesome. What were you able to take away from the road course to help you with your driving in general? That's a great question, Puffsley. So, road course racing is super fun to me because, honestly, anytime you get to race in any other sort of discipline of racing, I think it helps you. And that's why on iRacing I spend so much time lately running on the road courses, the dirt ovals, dirt road courses, and obviously just the regular pavement ovals. And it's not only made me a better iRacer, but it's made me a better real life racer. I've kind of not only gained a new appreciation for other styles and disciplines of racing, but it's helped me as a driver become that much better, learn about certain things in the race cars, and what you can expect out of it. And going road racing, as you mentioned, is very different. The way you attack a corner, the way there's so many different corners, and the course is so much longer. There's a lot that goes into it, especially not just to get around a road course. I wouldn't say it's not hard to go around a road course. I wouldn't say that. It's difficult. But what makes it really hard is to find that extra little bit of speed, right? Just like an oval. You fight for tenths of a second on an oval, and on a road course, the track's so big that you can easily give up a second. And that's a lot of time, obviously, on an oval. And on a road course, I wouldn't say it's not quite as much, but you can give that much time up in one section of a whole 2-mile track or 2.5-mile track. So it's very difficult, and it's very fun once you figure it out. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, our day, we got behind from the start with the window net falling down. That was really unfortunate. We got our lap back, raced really hard, got back up there, got heavy nose damage at the end of the race, and then we were able to repair some of it and just take what we had and salvage a top 20 finish. There was only 7 laps to go, and we drove from somewhere way in the back to there, which wasn't too shabby. Would take it. Not what we wanted at all. But thankful for Lucas Oil coming on board with us in Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the first ever NASCAR Xfinity Series race on the road course there. And I'd say one more thing about road racing that you could take away. It was fun to go not just road racing in like another type of car, but in the actual car and racing on the ovals, because you drive it differently on those tracks and you learn more about the car's capabilities and so on. Thoughts when the window net came down? Oh, crud. This is not good. That's what I thought. Wilkes did a great job on the spotter stand. He worked really well with my my main spotter, Derek Nealon. They worked well together, and he did a great job for me there at Indy. Obviously, at road courses, for those of you who don't know, the track's so large that you have multiple spotters. So at Indy, we actually had 3, and you really kind of have to look around and figure out where the more difficult sections it would be to see. And there's a couple blind spots. There was one portion of the track I kind of had to manage on my own, watching my mirrors very fiercely. Okay, so any other Indy questions before we get into Kentucky? Looks like we got a lot of people in here who are eager to hear about the week, so I'd love to answer any questions you have and run you through the races. Thank you everyone who's been following as well and who's been subscribing. Welcome to the Sauce Mafia. So that's where the Sauce Mafia originated from too, was from my Twitch channel, fast_pasta, for those of you who don't know. Everyone on Twitter now who I think we gained a lot of new fans this week, which is awesome. We had a lot of great exposure thanks to NASCAR on Fox, and it was really cool because during both races, not just the first one, but both races, Clint Boyer up in the booth the first night with Adam Alexander and Chad Knaus, and the second night with Adam Alexander and Kurt Busch, had radioed into me during the race just to chat with me, ask me about how the race was going, how our car was handling, what the track was like, and stuff like that. So that was very cool. It was so great. Obviously, most importantly, it was fantastic exposure for our sponsor, Alsco Uniforms, and our Chevy Camaro. So we are really excited about that. And we had an awesome paint scheme as always. I think we've had the best looking paint scheme every race this year. So that's pretty cool. And obviously, the second race, Friday night's, last night's race, was the Alsco 300. So I was very proud to represent Alsco and drive the Alsco Chevy in their race, so to speak, which made us even more motivated to put it in victory lane come the end of the night. Came up a few spots short both nights, unfortunately, but the race as a whole, both were great nights. Very solid nights, probably our best 2 races of the year so far, or up there with our best, and I'd say last night's was probably the best one. Executed really well, did all we could, and it's really fun running up front, and I think the biggest thing is it's so competitive at this level that one thing people don't realize is obviously you have to have the car balanced as well as possible, and a really good car helps you win the race, but it's so competitive, and just from the driver's capabilities at this level and everyone's cars being so close to equal, or there being multiple fast cars within the field, that you could run a near perfect race and still finish 5th and not make any mistakes. And obviously, if you win, chances are you didn't make any mistakes either. But I'm just saying that's how difficult it is to win, and it's very fun, and that's what makes it rewarding when you run well, when you finish well, when you compete up front. It makes it a great time. Let me get caught up here once again on the chat. Everyone's been saying such nice things. I'm reading everyone's comments right now, so thank you so much. Puts a smile on my face, making my whole weekend. As of now, I'm not running the road course at Daytona. Good question. Josh, going to get that checkered flag soon. That's right. That's what we're coming for. Jinx says, is it just me or does Anthony have the top tier car designs? It's not just you, it's fact. All of our cars have looked great this year. Our number 21 paint schemes have been awesome. What were my thoughts when the wheel popped off Thursday night? I was so scared. I was terrified. And once we fixed it still had me kind of spun out there for the start of the race. But fortunately, the issue was fixed and we made it. And then we ensured it was fixed even after the fact. Checked it another time after that race leading into Friday night's race. So we're all good. Got it fixed up. Everyone at Richard Childress Racing has been working super hard every week, doing a great job for me, bringing really fast Chevrolet Camaros, and I appreciate all the hard work they put in for me, all the hard work the pit crew puts in, and everyone obviously back at the shop and who comes to the track on the road crew side of things to do their best, and I'm doing my best behind the wheel, and my spotter up on the spotter stand, they've all been doing their part, and I think we all have great chemistry, we all get along, and have been doing the best we can, so it's awesome to see us not only be so consistent, but consistently getting better. And that's probably the biggest thing and obviously the most important thing as we progress throughout this year. How do you travel to the track? So some tracks we'll drive to. We usually would fly to Talladega, for example, but with the current COVID-19 situation, we drove and we drive. We try to social distance, so typically just 2 to 3 people per vehicle. I actually just ride with my crew chief, Andy Street, just the two of us. And anywhere further than that, we've been flying. So we fly privately, just like we did to Homestead and to Kentucky, to Indy, and places like that. For Kentucky, did you feel as fast as you looked night 2? What did you think you could have done better both nights, or what would you like to improve on for Texas? Awesome question, Puffsley. So, honestly, I felt as fast night 1 as I did night 2. Maybe a little bit faster night 2. The biggest thing was the confidence I gained the night before, and that was really nice to race the same track 2 times because being a rookie and have not even run 10 races, the most challenging part with no practice and no qualifying is not getting laps at a lot of these new tracks for me. And even some of the tracks I have been to in the Truck Series last season are so different in the NASCAR Xfinity cars because they drive so different. So what that means is when you go to these tracks, you feel like you're just starting from scratch and trying to feel it out. And it's a tall order. It's not easy, but it's been going really well. And I think I adapt to new environments quickly. So that's helped me during these past few months and last couple of races since we've came out of quarantine and been able to be back at the racetracks. NASCAR and all the racetracks have been doing a phenomenal job to allow us to get to the track and put on a show for the fans, and we can't wait till the fans are back in the grandstands to watch live, but obviously we know they're all watching on TV, which is rewarding. But going back to running 2 races in both nights was a huge advantage for everyone, and of course myself being a rookie, because like I said earlier, with no practice and no qualifying, to run the same track back to back, and me still being so new to the series and new to these cars and new to these tracks, I'm not only trying to figure out a new track each time, but I'm trying to figure out the cars and what makes a car fast, what balance do I need on the short run versus the long run, just where I need to be preferred line and on pit road and all sorts of things, just putting a whole race together really. And to race the night before helped me out a lot. The first night, Thursday night's race was 134 laps, and last night's, Friday night's race was 200 laps. So the race was much longer, so a little bit of different strategy, some longer runs in there, a green flag pit stop, but everything I learned on Thursday night's race I was able to apply, and I also knew what I wanted out of the race car, what balance I thought we needed, and I think that's why we showed even more speed Thursday night, and we got to run up front. We ran well Thursday night as well, but we were just even a couple spots better, so that was very rewarding, and I was really proud of our effort. So for Texas, I'm just excited to carry this momentum, honestly, and clean up a few little things, polish up some stuff like pit road, and I think we'll have a good shot at it. I think a lot's going to translate from Kentucky. The tracks are fairly similar. I'm expecting the track to put the PJ1 traction compound down, so we'll kind of fight or expect the same balance shifts and results from that. And Texas is one of my best tracks in the Truck Series last year. I ran both races there, and one of my favorite tracks, so I'm really excited to go there. Really cool to see what you're doing on Twitch. Keep up the awesome work. I appreciate that. Great run. Great run. So many people are saying such nice things. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. You're saying that in the Xfinity series, part of the recipe to run well, staying clean, being smart, and picking up spots. That's exactly how it is, and it's like that at every level. But I think what you start to see in the Xfinity series and even the Cup series is track position is huge. Clean air is king. That's not an exaggeration. You hear the announcers, the drivers, the teams, everyone talk about that, and it's because when you're in clean air, your car handles so much better because you have all the downforce, the front end geometry is working properly or how you expect it to. Well, when you immediately get behind somebody or have another car in front of you, their air wake and what we refer to as dirty air affects your balance. What that does is you don't have the same amount of downforce on the car, the same amount of side force with someone beside you, and that greatly affects the handling of the race car. So you almost have to be careful with how much you tune for being in traffic. And if you're up front, maybe you're leading the race and based on strategy, you're gonna pit and you're gonna come out in traffic and you think the balance is good. You don't adjust. You come back out in traffic and now your car is not handling how you'd like it to. So those are all the things I've been learning, and I think we've been attacking fairly well. I thought we were just about as fast as the 22 car last night, which he was the best car, obviously won both races, but on the long run, we are the fastest car on the track, and on the short run, we're pretty good. We maybe lacked a little bit of speed, but it's very difficult. It's pretty seldom you see a car be really fast on the short run and the long run, unless they're in clean air the whole time. Usually you're kind of one or the other, and we were definitely, I felt like we were pretty well balanced, but definitely more so on the long run side, which is great, because that's what we needed. That's how we gained a lot of track position and we're so fast. But at the end there, we actually got our short run speed back because we had that mishap on pit road, had to restart 30th, and drove all the way to 6th in 12 laps. The final restart, there was 12 to go, and I restarted somewhere around 30th, drove all the way back up to 6th. So that's a true testament to the effort by our entire team, and they worked so hard for me. I worked really hard behind the wheel to get them the finish they deserved. I think we had a car capable of running even better than that. Obviously, we had a strategy there that should have put us up front, and it just kind of got thrown out the window at that pit road mishap. So that's something I got to work on for the next race, and just a part of it so I get better. But nonetheless, fantastic night, both nights. Really close to perfectly executed, I think, just for the level of experience and few races I've had so far. But going back to what you said about staying clean and being smart, it's the same thing. It's, there's a time to be aggressive, usually at the end of the race, but people are doing that at the end of stages now because they want stage points, which has made the racing more exciting for the fans. So hats off to NASCAR with implementing stage racing a couple years back. I think it's been great for everyone watching, but made it more exciting. I know I love watching it, and in the car it's even more fun. You feel the intensity pick up. But like you said, staying clean is huge because if you get any damage, minor damage at these tracks that are much faster goes back to the clean air and the dirty air. Well, when you have damage, it does the same thing. It affects your aerodynamics and your overall balance tremendously. So to be able to stay clean and just pick off spots whenever you can, and obviously you don't want to be too patient to where you're giving up spots, but just be smooth and be there at the end when it matters is key. See a lot of guys who don't even run in the top 5 the whole day, and they finish 3rd or 4th or 5th, or, sometimes they even win the race just because of doing just that, just staying clean all day. So that's one thing we've done really well all year, is just kind of lurked inside the top 5 or the top 10 and stayed there the whole race, and we finished there. Like I said, that's a good thing, and once you run up front long enough, eventually you're going to get a win. It's only a matter of time. Who's the hardest person to race around in the Xfinity series? That's a great question. Hardest person to race around. Either the 9 or the 10, probably. 9 or the 10 car. How confident do you feel for Texas after the last 2 nights at Kentucky? Will you still sim race for practice heading into Texas? Absolutely will sim. I'll be with Chevrolet on the simulator this week preparing for Texas Motor Speedway, which is a huge help and advantage, especially with no practice and no qualifying and none of that track time. Like I said, one of my better tracks in the Truck Series, but as I mentioned earlier, a lot of it hasn't translated because the Xfinity cars drive tremendously different. So it's going to be, I'm not going to expect many of the same things. However, that being said, Kentucky will translate pretty well, I think, for some of the car balance things, what you feel while running in the PJ1 versus not in it, because I think they're going to lay it down at Texas this weekend, and they're going to apply it to the track, probably the higher grooves, just like they did in Kentucky, and also just the way turns 3 and 4 is so flat at Kentucky, that's how 1 and 2 is at Texas, and then 3 and 4 is a lot of banking, much like 1 and 2 has a decent amount at Kentucky. So I think it's pretty nice to run those tracks back to back, and I'll be able to translate quite a bit of things, but we'll still be on the simulator practicing and preparing, and I'll be on my SimSeats driving simulator on iRacing doing the same thing too whenever I can. Constant schedule changes. What are your thoughts? NASCAR has been doing a great job with all the tracks, all their sponsors, and everyone to make sure we can be at the racetrack each week, putting on a show for the fans, on live television, and doing our thing. And I think the racing's been great. I think no practice and no qualifying is very difficult for a driver like myself, especially a rookie who hardly has any experience, because I'm not getting all the track time I had expected this year. However, it's made the racing way more fun to watch for the fans, I think, because I know I enjoy watching at the races I'm not in since I'm on a part-time schedule, or even just watching the Cup Series. It's very exciting because you see guys make mistakes that they don't usually make. You see some of these teams, including the bigger teams, not run as well as they usually do because they don't have the time and practice to fine-tune. And we all know on pit stops you can't make major adjustments and be changing out parts. You can really only just do minor adjustments to try to get the balance better and do all you can. So I think everything's been going well so far, and we're just playing it by ear and excited to see as they continue to release the rest of the schedule throughout the remainder of the 2020 season. How does it feel to have so few races and be running so well? Definitely making a name for yourself, which is helping out. I appreciate the kind words, and it does feel great. But to be honest with you, I hold high expectations for myself, and as I always say, I'm always hungry, which isn't just a pasta pun, but my last name's Alfredo, so we always get those puns thrown around, such as the Sauce Mafia, the fan base. But anyways, I have been working really hard to do this and take advantage of the amazing opportunity I've been blessed with to drive for Richard Childress Racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. A lot of people have helped get me here, and very thankful for my family, our sponsors, and just people like Richard believing in me. A lot of people believed me from the start, including Lee Falk when I first started racing, and went to race late models for Dale Jr.'s teams, and it's just been a crazy journey. I feel like I just started yesterday, but like I said, I'll always be humble and I'll always be thankful for the opportunities, but the biggest thing is taking advantage of them. So my goal is to go win every week. It's not to go ride around, and my goal is not to go finish sixth, right? Obviously, it was a great week for us, and the races went really well, but that's not what we went there to do. So I just want that much more. I want to keep getting better, and I definitely am satisfied with the results so far as how the year's been going, and I think it's been going very well. We've been impressing a lot of people and turning heads, which is always great. However, I'm, like I said, always hungry. Can we get Sauce Mafia merch like masks? So I'm really glad you asked that question because I actually just tweeted yesterday that masks are finally coming to the AnthonyAlfredo.com store, which is amazing because I have the custom one my mom made me with the Fast Pasta logo, and they are actually going to be available on the website now, so everyone can stay safe and practice their social distancing or go to the store while wearing their Sauce Mafia masks. Keep up the great work. Thank you. See sheet metal in the background. Yep, it's my little sheet metal collection. I have one piece of sheet metal from just about every race car I've driven, which is pretty cool. I wish I would keep so much more if I had the space, like if I lived in a house or had a garage or something, but I just live in an apartment, so I can't hoard too much of this stuff, unfortunately. Thank you everyone for subscribing and following as well. Love seeing you guys in the chat. Also, at 5,000 followers, which we're at 3.6, I think we're at 3,600. At 5,000 followers, I'm giving away a Logitech G29 wheel and pedal set for someone looking to get into iRacing. So if you or someone you know wants to get into iRacing, maybe can't afford a wheel and pedal set, but has a computer or is trying to build their setup, and that's all they're lacking and what they're in need of to complete the build, or maybe even you're already on iRacing and your equipment has broke and you need new ones. So if that's the case, then at 5,000 followers, be prepared for that major giveaway. Thanks to Joey14Fan in the chat. You can see him chatting in the Sauce Mafia stream right over here. But thanks to him for making it possible for us to do that. It's going to be awesome. You'll be in victory lane in no time. Thank you for that support and motivation. I appreciate it. I believe so as well. Professor Pasta, you do a great job explaining what's going on. Thank you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad I could provide some insight. I like doing this on the weekend. We should do this more. Usually we do it on Mondays, but since we raced, it's only Saturday. I figured we'd do it today instead of waiting 2 days, especially because the truck race got rain shortened. But maybe even if we race Saturday, we should do this on Sunday before the Cup race or even after. If you could choose where you doubleheader next, where would you go? I think Texas would be a fun one to do a doubleheader at, but that's a hard question to answer because there's a lot of fun tracks on the schedule I'm excited to go to. Loudon could be a cool doubleheader. Dover, which we are doing a doubleheader there. I believe I'm only running one of those two races though, unfortunately. Every driver has that thing they do when they win, and that you're real close to winning. Have you thought about what your thing will be? All right, so that's a really good one. So the first thing, obviously I want to thank the Lord, when we win. That's the biggest thing. I thank him each and every day, and I pray each and every day. So that would be step number one. And then next, I'm thinking about pulling out the cereal bowl celebration, but really it'd be like eating a bowl of pasta. So I think it would be hilarious. That was weird. I think it would be hilarious to do that. Is that a good one or no? Is that too cringy? Let me know. Game Sense, come on, my man. Ugh. Making me dab in a post-race QnA, really? Ooh, didn't expect that one. All right, I need to take a sip of water. That was so cringe. Don't ask me why I have that, but the pasta points you gain from viewing, from your total watch time on the stream is just, I mean, I had to make them useful for something. It was awesome when Clint Boyer dialed me up, wasn't he? He did it both days. Both races. That was you dressed as Colonel Sanders at the track. It's hilarious. That's a good one. I go to the race shop every day. Pretty much every day. Right now, with the coronavirus pandemic, obviously, I'm not going as much as unless I need to, just because I don't want to be putting my, being in contact with my guys too much or them being in contact with me too much unless necessary. But it's still pretty close to every day they're at the shop during the week. Keep digging, bro. Feels like you'll be in victory lane soon enough. Thank you for the support. Thank you for everyone who's been commenting such nice things. That means a lot to me. I really do appreciate all of that. I should get a storage unit for the sheet metal. Then I could keep all the sheet metal I want. What upcoming races are you looking forward to most and why? That's an awesome question. So, based on what NASCAR is currently released, I am super excited for Texas this coming Saturday. I'm very excited. So, basically, my next three races. My next three races are Texas this coming Saturday, and then in a few weeks, I'll be running Dover, one of the two Dovers in the doubleheader, and then Daytona the week after that. Daytona of those three is probably the one I'm the most excited for because Talladega went so well for us. We led laps, ran up front the whole time, finished sixth, just didn't have any help at the end, and kind of got shucked out of line since I was a rookie. A lot of people don't want to help you, even though we had a tremendously fast car, which is another reason why a lot of people don't want to help you, because if you have a fast car and they give you a push, they're not going to beat you. So I felt like we could win that race, but we could go down to Daytona and hopefully win that race. But the other two, Texas, I'm pumped about. Like I said, it's one of my favorite tracks, and Dover is going to be awesome as well. I won the iRacing Pro Invitational Series race there during the COVID-19 quarantine when NASCAR had all those big events on iRacing. That was, I ran well in all of them, but that was the one I actually finally won, so that was really cool. So I'm excited to go from sim to reality, as we always say, in real life. Do the noodle. It's like the worm, but the noodle instead. Love it. The Pasta Bowl. So yeah, everyone said it'd be an awesome celebration. Yeah, Zeke Elliott was the one who uh, invented that, right? The cereal bowl one. But I'm making it the pasta bowl. Twiddling the pasta like that, that'd be kind of hard to do though. Like, you need your spoon. You get your noodles on the spoon, your pasta on the spoon, and you twist up the pasta on your fork. That'd be a little difficult. I'm trying to get caught up on the chat. Has the lack of practice hurt your performance anywhere? Has iRacing helped with it and given you an advantage? That's an awesome question, Gibby. So I feel like it's a double-edged sword. You can't pass up track time and overall seat time in anything. I think I'm one to drive anything if I get the chance, and I think it actually helps you no matter what you drive. So seat time and anything's huge, but especially practice in the actual car you're racing at the track you're racing on is a huge advantage. And not having practice has definitely hurt me as a rookie. However, I've been running really well and taking to it very well. So it's nothing to be too disappointed with. Like I said, there's some traits like my ability to adapt to new environments quickly that have propelled me to the level I'm at now in such a short amount of time, and I think it's helped me in this current situation with no practice and no qualifying, and obviously all the time I spent on my SimSeats driving simulator on iRacing has helped me through this as well, because going to new tracks I've never been to before, not only do I practice with Chevrolet on their simulator, but I can come home and hop on my sim rig and live stream for you all as I practice for these upcoming races and make laps at these tracks to get more comfortable and at the very least get a visual for what everything's going to be like. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. I think I have a couple things helping me with the situation with no practice, but if I could have practice, it definitely only make me that much better. You can get a signed hero card by going to anthonyalfredo.com and visiting the Fan Zone tab, which is where you'll see the address to send a self-addressed envelope so that I could sign a hero card and mail it right back to you. You're expecting a win at Dover since I won that NASCAR iRacing Pro Invitational Series race there. Oh, I gotta hydrate. All right. That was a bunch of sips because there was like 5 requests to hydrate. Like I said, I'm trying to find use for these pasta points. You got to get someone to bring you a bowl of pasta for your wins. That'd be pretty solid. Just like Ross throws the watermelon, I can throw some pasta in the air or something. A bowl of pasta in victory lane. How'd you get the damage on the left front of the first race? So that was actually on one of the restarts. They stacked up in front of me, and I checked up. I got put 3 wide, and I just couldn't go anywhere to avoid the stack up in front of me, and had heavy nose damage. It put a really big hole in the nose, and that's why we lost so much speed in the car. It was really frustrating because we went from racing inside the top 8 the whole night and running in the top 5 some of the night. I think we finished 4th or 5th in one of the stages in the Thursday night race, and we had that hole in the nose, and I was struggling to run like 13th. That's how much that cosmetic damage on the body actually slowed me down, and not only affected overall speed down the straightaways, top speed, but the handling in the corners. And that was what was really frustrating because I was racing around guys that we were so much faster than, and sure enough, we pitted and were able to fix some of it just by covering it with some tape and such, and that gave us the speed to get back up front and salvage a 6th place finish. My favorite scheme we've ran so far. That's a really hard question to answer because every single one has looked so great. And I love all my partners. They all have done a lot for me, and obviously we've had almost a different paint scheme every race, which is cool. It's kind of fun for us and the fans and exciting. It's always something fresh and new, and they all look so great. So it's hard to pick just one. Man, they all are so awesome. It's so difficult to pick one. I'm gonna have to think on that one. Maybe we revisit this at the end of the year because there is some new paint schemes coming. Where you'll see some more throughout the season. Wink, wink. I didn't actually wink because it's just gonna be total cringe. With Derek Nealon as a spotter, you can't go wrong. That is right. Derek's an amazing spotter. So Derek actually spotted for Tyler Reddick in the Xfinity series the last year or two. Yeah, no, last his 2 years for both his championships, I believe, and then he went with Tyler to the Cup Series side now, which worked out for me because now he's able to spot me in my NASCAR Xfinity Series races and spot Tyler on Sunday in the Cup Series. That's right. Hound is always going to be busy. Every week she sees a new paint scheme and has to design a new charm for all you guys. But it's awesome to see those, and they come out so well, and they look great. And it's cool that all you guys are sporting them and showing support that way. That's really unique. Any other final questions regarding Kentucky before we wrap this up? get some final questions in here. I have not drank enough water today. Dehydrated from these last 2 days. Got to keep drinking. Stay hydrated for this coming weekend now in Texas. It's going to be a hot one. To be honest, I don't really know. I haven't looked at the weather yet, but I'm just going to assume it's going to be hot because it's Texas. How much different was the car day today? Great question. It was fairly different because track temps were cooler Friday night, and I think some of the PJ1 was wearing and coming off of the racetrack. Plus, we made a couple changes, obviously, between the two races, like mechanical changes, so it just drove a little bit differently. Not much. It was more so the track changes that affected our handling. How scary was it when your steering wheel came off? It was scary. But we fixed it. Our pit crew was awesome. And my guy was able to hop over the wall. Timmy Latiga, he got in there, leaned in the car, pulled the window net down, got in there, fixed it, got it hooked up for me, and I was good to go. He sent me on my way, and we didn't even lose our starting position. And fortunately, they didn't take the green flag yet, because that would have really stunk, because then we would have been at least one lap down, if not two from the start. It would have been super unfortunate. Any idea if I will get a driver cam soon? I'm not too sure on that, but I would love to have an in-car camera. That would be really awesome to have, so you guys can get a sneak peek of that throughout the race. That'd be really cool. I'd love it just to go back and watch. Off-topic question: favorite IndyCar driver? Man, that's a good question too. Look at all these. Joey 14 fan gifted 5 tier 1 subs. They've gifted total of 83 subscriptions in this channel. Thank you so much, Joey fan. I appreciate that. That is awesome. Welcome everyone to the Sauce Mafia who got gifted subscriptions. Some of you have been resubbed now, so thank you for that. What question was I answering? Oh, favorite IndyCar driver. I might have to go with Joseph Newgarden because he's a wheelman. Scott Dixon has been kicking butt, though. He's the only winner so far this year. He's won all 3 races back. So, that's incredible. Santino Ferrucci's your favorite driver? I actually raced with him on iRacing in a series quite a bit. It was a lot of fun. Nicely renewed their subscription as well, so that would be a 4-month streak now. Thank you, Nicely's. All right, well, that sounds like a pretty great time or a pretty great place to end the stream. It's been an awesome time, and I always love chatting with everyone. I love answering your questions, and I appreciate your support. Like I said, I feel like I'm a broken record, but I mean it every time I say it. I'm so thankful for everyone who supports me. That goes for the Sauce Mafia as a whole, of course, as well as all my partners, my family, my parents. I wish they could be at the racetrack with me each week. And, of course, all the fans who aren't there. But I know everyone's been watching on TV and listening to the scanner. If you guys don't know, on the NASCAR app, you can listen to my radio team communications during the race. And as someone mentioned, that'd be awesome if we had an in-car camera sometime soon so that you can get an inside look at inside the cockpit or an onboard camera on the car with me. But nonetheless, I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend, enjoys their Saturday night, and has a great Sunday tomorrow, and enjoys watching the Cup Series race at Kentucky Speedway. But we'll end it off there. Another great week. 2 6th-place finishes Thursday night and Friday night at Kentucky Speedway in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, driving my Alsco Chevrolet Camaro. And I'm excited to get to Texas Motor Speedway on Saturday to work with my number 21 guys once again and try to get our first win of the year. Thank you for the support, and I'll talk to you all later.